Welcome to the pregame show. I am your host, Kevin Newton, sitting here in the press box at Wrigley Field. We are a little more than an hour away from kickoff with the Buckeyes and the Northwestern Wildcats playing here again at the friendly confines of Wrigley Field. Sorry for the late start today. A little bit out of our normal routine, I would say, just with this being a road game and a different type of venue than we are used to. But, they've done a good job putting this together. And I know that there is a lot of concern out there about the health and the well-being of the teams, with the dimensions here not exactly being to football standards in the eyes of many people. But, I can assure you that the field is 100 yards. 120 actually, because you have to have the end zones as well to have the room in there. Maybe not a lot of room in the corners, but you gotta have a little awareness of what you're doing. The corner of one end zone is about a little bit off of where home plate would be, and they have taken the third base dugout out for this event. The first base dugout is still there. That is the sideline that Ohio State will have for this game. And then Northwestern will be out in like short left field or so. And then we have the fence that is out there covering up the ivy. The ivy not completely gone yet. We are in early November, mid-November, I guess. But they do have padding up there, which should help with the cause. Talking about the cause, let's get to the availability report, which came out a little bit earlier today, 9 a.m. Eastern. No players are listed as questionable. You have a handful of players who are listed as out. I would say the name that would be the most surprising is Mitchell Melton. He is out, along with tight end Will Kacmarek, offensive lineman Zen Mahalski, defensive backs Aaron Scott and Calvin Simpson-Hunt. Receiver Reese Stocksdale, and then a couple of season-long injuries with Josh Simmons and T.C. Cappy. So that is your Ohio State availability report of what you have there. I mean, nothing that's really a surprise. We don't have Tyleek Williams listed on there, but, I think that you could see a potential of him being he's here, but we're not really planning on playing him. Edric Houston got to start last week. He's listed here on the depth chart that Northwestern has provided us, but that is only really based upon who started last week. Nobody issues depth charts anymore. They've kind of gone the way of the dodo, if you will. So you kind of go that way with that. So 68 minutes, and again, I'm recording this, and then I will post it. As you can see, tight confines here in the press box. We're all kind of stepping on one another. If it's noisy in the background, I apologize. I do have my AirPods in, hoping that will help nullify some of the background noise. As again, people are walking behind me on the shot. I've got a really good seat. Where I'm sitting here in the press box, third row, really right behind home plate. So a little bit different than the way football stadiums are, where the press box is on the sideline. I'm looking directly over one of the corners of the end zone. So when things are going out toward right field, they'll be getting a little bit further away from me to where I would normally be viewing. At Wrigley, if you've not been here, they have two big jumbotrons. I have some TVs in here as well, so that should help out. What I want to kind of see in this game is I want to see Ohio State have a quicker start than it has in some other games. Take care of business, and then maybe get the starters out. I think a perfect game would be Ohio State putting up 28 points or so in the first half, maybe run the starters for a series in the third quarter, and then get Devin Brown out there, then get Julian Sayin out there, get James Peoples out there, get Jermaine Matthews, get some of the younger guys out there. And really what it comes down to is it's not necessarily a safety thing about, I'm afraid they're going to run into a brick wall and get injured. I mean, you have other stadiums that have these same issues of tight corners. But I think that with the next 8 quarters of football beyond this game, and you never really want to get ahead of yourself, but with the next 8 quarters coming up with Indiana and then obviously Michigan, you want to make sure that you've got guys as healthy as possible. And we're to the point of the season where guys have played enough football. Early in the season, we don't want to play less football. We want we want our starters to play more football. Well, they played plenty of football, so get them out when given the opportunity. Now, if you go into the game with that mindset, then that's when you screw around and you realize you're in the third quarter and you're only up 10 points, and then you can't do it. So go in, do a workmanlike type of game, do what is asked of you, and go from there. So again, here on the Buckeye Huddle pregame show, just kind of going through some things, a light slate in terms of what we've got going on in the Big Ten today. Indiana is not playing, and that's really the team that I think Ohio State is keeping an eye on because so much is kind of riding on that game next week with Ohio State already sitting with a loss. Oregon goes to Wisconsin, and we can certainly remember number one Ohio State team in the early teens going to Wisconsin and getting tripped up. Oregon having to travel a couple of time zones into the central time zone. Will that matter? I don't think it will. Wisconsin doesn't really have an offensive identity. I think the Phil Longo hire is not necessarily working out yet with the personnel that they have there. I expect Oregon to win, but maybe in a game that's a little bit closer than we anticipate, which means it'll end up being by 40 or something, just how it kind of works out. A pretty thin slate of games today. The biggest game out there nationally is Tennessee, Georgia. It sounds like Nico Iamaleava, the quarterback for the Vols, is going to play. I like Tennessee in this one. I really do. I think Georgia is trending in the wrong direction. I think that Tennessee can run the ball. Their Dylan Sampson, their running back, has 20 touchdowns on the year. And I think that if Nico is able to go out and be a game manager, I think that they have a good opportunity of pulling off the upset. And I think another Georgia loss knocks them completely out of the playoff picture, despite what Heather Dinich and some of the people, Paul Feinbaum and some of the others are saying there. But again, as we get ready to wrap up, the Ohio State game, I picked 38-7 Ohio State. And here's kind of my methodology on it. I think there's going to be some sort of weird ground rule play that's going to happen where Ohio State just gives up a dumb touchdown. But outside of that, there's Letterman Rose, Tim May behind me. But I think they give up a dumb touchdown. But I think that they take care of business. I think they put up 28 in the first half and then kind of decelerate to the rest of the game. So 38-7 is my pick. You can get all of the picks over at BuckeyeHuddle.com. Not a member of Buckeye Huddle? Check us out right now. $4.99 for your first month to join us over at Buckeye Huddle. That's going to get you the Indiana game. That's going to get you the Michigan game. That's going to get you, knock on wood, the Big Ten championship game. Great time to get involved before Ohio State's possible playoff run. Don't miss out on this opportunity. BuckeyeHuddle.com. If you're watching us on YouTube, be sure to give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell. Don't miss a single episode. Join us this afternoon for our post-game show. We will have analysis. We will have post-game interviews. Tom and Tony with their unique insights. All of that on our post-game show immediately following the game. Actually, we started with a couple minutes left before the game ends just to get out ahead of everything. Mark Gibler spearheads a lot of our content from that side of things. So check us out there. But until then, enjoy the game, stay warm, and we'll talk to you very soon.